Burrow plays the highest possible level of college football. I've made the case here that LSU played the most difficult schedule of any college team ever to win a championship last year, and he couldn't possibly have played better. But that said, how much of a shock will week one, where they will play the Chargers, how much of a shock will that be for him, particularly considering a truncated offseason and the possibility of no preseason at all?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Now, listen, it wasn't just Burrow at LSU. He had a ton of great talent around him. Now he's going to Cincinnati. Not only does he not have the same quality of talent around him, and I'm talking about all 11, not just skill guys, I'm talking about offensive line play, what has happened with their defense, all those kinds of things. You're asking a guy to go in and not only play well, but change a culture of losing. That's a big deal, right? At LSU, there wasn't a culture of losing. Now, can he do it? Possibly. Will it happen right away? It will not happen right away. We try to compare these guys and put these guys, even Tua coming from Alabama, going to Miami. This is difficult to do when you're going to programs and organizations that have not won in 5, 10 plus years. This is not just one guy makes all the difference in the world. And you try to take it back to 83 and compare them to those class, the way those guys did it differently. And then we think about Mahomes and Jackson. Those guys went to two established organizations. The Chiefs were in the playoffs with Alex Smith. John Harbaugh had won a Super Bowl. So if you're talking about the type of organization where Burrow is going, you're asking a ton for this kid to come in and make that type of impact. Don't put that type of pressure. Let's build around him and let him develop into the player he can be.
Well, since you mentioned Tua, let me get to that one as well, because the two obviously are really tied together in these circumstances here. The Dolphins head coach, of course, is Brian Flores. And he told the Palm Beach Post last week he needs to see more from Tua before he can make him the starting quarterback. He said, my hopes don't get high or low until I see a guy in the huddle, until I see a guy make it through practice, multiple practices. It's hard to say we're going to do this, that, or the other at game speed. That's for anyone. So, Graziano, let me come to you. There were already questions about Tua and whether he would start immediately based upon the history of injury. Now you factor in almost no preseason, maybe no preseason games at all, and this unusual offseason. What do you think that means for the possibility of Tua Tagovailoa getting on the field early this year?
Well, I think we can take Brian Flores at his word, and he wants to see him practice. He wants to see him on a field. He wants to see him, break down a huddle. These are the only thing he's seen from Tua is game tape from Alabama and then Zoom calls throughout the offseason, because no one has been on a practice field yet. None of these teams have been able to conduct in-person work. So Flores is trying to make sure the expectations are set appropriately. They're happy with where Tua is in terms of his health. They think he'll be able to do everything they ask him to do in terms of preparation in training camp, but it's how he comes along that will determine whether he can start week one or whether it needs to be at some point later in the season before he can start. Remember, they did finish well with Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback last year. They're comfortable playing him there, especially if Tua needs more time to get ready.
Yeah, these teams handle these things very differently. The Bengals did not keep Andy Dalton, who would have been the established starter, and try and make sort of ease the transition, while the Dolphins do keep Ryan Fitzpatrick. So, Booger, look in the Booger McFarland crystal ball. What will we see the first month or so from these two young, super hyped quarterbacks, from Burrow in Cincinnati and Tua in Miami?
Well, Greeny, I think Burrow is going to start from day one. I think he's going to come in. They've pretty much given him the job as a starting quarterback, and I think they're going to build a system around him. Down in Miami, I don't know if Tua is going to start from day one. You alluded to the comment there from Brian Flores. I think he's going to have to come in and learn and show, but I do think he will start over half the games his rookie year. So I think it's going to be vastly different for both of them. It's going to be a learning curve, but in the end, when we get toward the end of the season, I think both will be starting and both will get valuable reps. Peyton Manning said it the best, and Jeff Saturday, you know this. You do not learn how to play the position of quarterback on the bench. You have to be on the field. So both will play this year. One will start the season as a starter, but both will finish the season as the starting quarterback for their respective teams.
Meanwhile, it may not be a quarterback who winds up having the most impact as a rookie this year. Let's run the hurry up and talk about who may be the most impactful rookies this year. Jeff Saturday, let's start with you. Which rookie will have the biggest impact this year?
I'm going to go Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, listen, going to the Chiefs with all the explosive guys, skill positions they have, everywhere. We're talking about guys already crowning a Hall of Fame quarterback, even though we've only played a couple years with him. But if you're looking, Himbo gave me this earlier this morning, 95 tackles in the Power 5. This guy is absolutely electric with the ball in his hands, whether he's running it, catching it out of the backfield. He will be special in Kansas City. That's where I'm headed.
All right, Booger, how about you? Who's the rookie who'll make a big difference?
Greeny, I'm going with C.D. Lamb from Oklahoma. We all know what he can do. He's an explosive wide receiver, very good route runner. But when you look at the system and where he's going, the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, established quarterback, Mike McCarthy's going to be the head coach. He's going to have Amari Cooper on the opposite side. So his ability to kind of create and get one-on-one opportunities is going to be there. And he's got a veteran quarterback. He's going to have an outstanding season.
Graziano, who you got?
I got Chase Young in Washington. He makes 5 first-round picks for the Washington front 7. That's the same number the 49ers had in their front 7 last year, and we know what kind of season they had. Our former colleague Jack Del Rio, the new defensive coordinator down there, has had plenty of success with edge rushers in the past, top-level edge rushers. I think we're looking at a situation not unlike when the Niners drafted Nick Bosa 2nd overall. Washington takes Chase Young 2nd overall. That defense could actually be scary.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.